Hold on. You didn't think we were skipping straight to the ending, did you?
My name is Jeff Jennings, and I was the varsity basketball coach during the 2000-2001 section championship. For me, my very first year, we had gone to the semifinals. My first year as the varsity coach, and we had lost. We had a lead at halftime, ended up losing to Bandit, who went on to the section championship game. And all the years trying to get back to that moment, trying to get back to that moment, trying to get back to that moment, and we were finally there. So for myself, uh, I was definitely excited, but definitely nervous, and I knew we had a very good opponent, a very well coached opponent, Sierra. We played them several times previously that year, and just battles. It was a lot of nervous excitement. The guys were definitely feeling it. Only school to ride with the school bus, and everyone else had charter buses, and that's par for the course for us here at Riverbank, and that's how we like it. Yeah, I remember when we got off the bus and we were walking up to Arco Arena, and I remember looking up and it had Arco Arena, but the only A, R, C was lit. The O wasn't working, but that was okay. And we kind of fumbling our way. We didn't know where to go. We didn't know what to do. This first time experience, and so we found the entrance that we were supposed to go into, and we go down below the arena, and we're kind of underneath the arena in the stands, and so we started to hear this noise, and there was a game that was being played prior to us, and so we kind of walked, and people were giving us directions, and then I remember walking through the tunnel. As we walked into this tunnel, you can see Arco Arena, and we entered from the floor level, looking up underneath one of the baskets. And I remember not just the kids, but all of us coaches as well, just kind of being blown away. I mean, this is the place that you see on TV, the home of the Kings, and here we were walking in for the very first time, and the floor, not from the top coming down, but down here looking up, and it was a pretty cool moment. A fun atmosphere. Our crowd was electric. Anybody and everybody from Riverbank was there that day. Which you look up in the stands and you see all these familiar faces, staff, students, community, uh, my family. It really was amazing. And we felt good. None of us had any money, so we wanted to go out and get suits. None of us could afford suits, so we went to Macy's, and I think my suit was probably 3 sizes too big, but it was on sale. And I know for a fact Kelly Wheelock bought a suit, kept the tag on, and returned it. So that's kind of the story behind all that. From what I've been told, Mike Terpstra, who had coached Ripper Christian, had very been successful, coached in the NBA later on. I remember him calling me and telling me that it was very difficult to shoot at Arco Arena because of the depth perception. Being in this gym here, it's nice and tight, and it feels cozy, it feels good. And then you go to a gym like that, it's just so open, it's so big. So, and I knew we were going to have a little trouble adjusting. What I wasn't prepared for at the beginning was the turnovers. We just turned the ball over uncharacteristically in the beginning, and we played great defense. I think they went on a run to kind of end the half, and then they kind of went up big. But in that first half, it was tough to get something to fall for. So we had the good looks, um, but I think we were just playing real tight and playing not to lose. I mean, when you're in that environment against an opponent that we had played previously in our tournament, we had actually beat them uh, at the buzzer in the Ron Peterson tournament, tip-off tournament, and we played them and we had lost to them in their tournament. Very close game in the championship. So we knew each other very well, and they again very very well coached. So just to get anything to drop early was a challenge for us. But defensively we were able to stay in it. And like I said, they went on a run a little bit late, but we went in halftime down. And the one thing about these guys is they never quit. They're just such an amazing group of young men who just continue to fight, scratch plow, whatever it took. I remember guys coming in being more frustrated. Uh, I felt pretty good going into the second half. I knew the kind of guys we had. I knew that defensively, what we were capable of doing. Not only could we pressure the ball, but we had the size. We could dominate the glass, and we could challenge the rim. And I think we did a pretty good job of that second half. We made it tough. Every possession for both teams. Every possession was just a challenge. Uh, we know that we wanted to get out transition a little bit more. We'd forced a lot of turnovers the first half, and we hadn't scored on any of those. So we wanted to get out transition, get some easier buckets. We wanted to get the ball into Steve, uh, and then we wanted to crash the glass. And to be honest, I thought we played really, really good, solid defense. And then Brian just stepped up. I mean, Brian was amazing that second half. Uh, Aaron Gentry, everybody talks about, his legendary, not one, but two shots. But Brian got us back in that game. Numerous and ones, attacking the offensive glass, going to the hole. We just couldn't get anything to fall from the outside. So we just started to attack. And, we began to chip away, chip away, chip away. And I think, one of the key turning points was when they got a technical. They had a call that didn't go their way down at our end. And I think their assistant coach, I believe, got teed up. And, we were able to hit, the free throws and got the ball in coming in. And, I think we had slowly worked our way back into the game. And then that was kind of one of those pivotal moments where you kind of felt momentum begin to change. So after Brian hits the free throws from the technicals, Aaron had some big plays. So obviously he's going to have the two big shots later on, but they win zone. They got the ball to him, the high post. He hit a jumper. Later on, he came back and he hit he got a put back. And then that game was just kind of was cat and mouse. We'd get him. They knocked down a couple free throws, and on that last minute, They had some opportunities to put the game away several different times. Didn't capitalize on the free throw. Remember calling timeout. We set up a play for Brian, if I remember correctly. And Steve was to come up, set a screen. Brian was to go to his right, a drive. If the defense collapsed, he was to kick to Aaron, and that's exactly what he did. He hit that three. Um, we called the timeout, and then they were able to get the ball in bounds. We fouled. Both free throws were missed. And I just remember telling the guys, just run it again, like run the same thing again. Brian got the rebound and uh, drove it up. And again, I give Brian a lot of credit. A lot of guys in a situation, especially with the game that he had, would probably forced a tough shot. You're coming down the floor with 6, 7 seconds left. Uh, but he made the winning play. Aaron up ahead. Aaron had just hit one, gave a pass. Aaron catches it, gives a little shake. Guy goes by, pulls, and the rest, as they say, is history. And at that point, all hell broke loose. People going. I remember Kyle Rotan get taken out by security. Him always got his sticks with me, and then all the guys were on the floor and jumping on top of one another. When it was, I remember if I remember correctly, I think Sierra they had been chanting scoreboard, and they had a big banner that they had unfurled, and that was a little poetic there that we were able to hit that shot to win the game. But a lot of little things went into play before Aaron made history. People still talk about that shot to this day. Oh, but I mean, you know, Josh shoots a free throw. We get stops. Andy plays great defense. Steve was just a monster down low. Daniel coming off the bench. Ricky. Used a lot of guys came in and contributed that. Dustin contributed to that game. And then again, you know, I remember the entire game. I could just hear our fans' defense. I mean, that's who we are. It's what we are. It's what we do. Uh, and our fans were just amazing. I mean, when that buzzer sounded, I remember watching the video. Thank you, Mike Corsat, one of our teachers at the time, was gracious enough to record. And he kind of pans around, and there's just so many Riverbank fans. It really was kind of that movie Hollywood kind of ending that everyone dreams of, and it was a heck of a way to win it. Yeah, after the game, it was crazy, and the fans were just insane. The amount of energy, the excitement. I'm just so proud of the guys, and everybody just to win a game like that is what you dream of as a kid. You're out shooting on your hoop. You're in open gym. You're in practice. Everybody's counting the 3, 2, 1, and for Aaron to hit two threes, both of them from about NBA range, on the biggest stage of our high school career. It doesn't get any better than that. People always ask me, now that I've retired, my greatest accomplishments, regrets, and then that is I get up there with one of my greatest accomplishments, but also one of my greatest regrets. Uh, I remember watching the film after the game and looking at myself Oh, and everyone's just having so much fun. They're jumping in each other's arms. They're smiling, laughing, and I'm already thinking about what I'm going to say at the locker room. I'm already thinking about who our next opponent might be. I think for a while there, I found someone's shoe. I was trying to figure out whose shoe it was, uh, and I regret the fact that I didn't stop and enjoy the moment. And never got another opportunity to enjoy it. I always told myself if I ever got back, I would enjoy that moment. But to win that game and to win with those kids, and they've all grown up to be such fantastic men. They're good fathers, they're good husbands, they're just wonderful people. And I think that is a greater accomplishment than winning that game is to see how those guys have led their lives, that represented our community. I think at the final thing we talk about family and tradition. And this is a program that was built by Ron Peterson that I inherited. And he set that foundation, that groundwork that we wanted to continue to build brick by brick by brick. And I was very proud of the moment, what we're able to accomplish. And we did it together. We talk about family, and I think it's something that we live. I mean, even to this day, these guys are still close. And this program that we have, built is still a close-knit program, close-knit family, and then the tradition. And I remember telling the guys, it's like, hey, but we had a pretty high bar, but we took that bar, we set a little bit higher. And, in my 25 years as varsity coach, I got to the semifinals 6 times. And that was the only time we were able to get over the hurdle and jump. I'd always wanted to get back, drove myself to get back to that same moment, to give these kids that same opportunity. And we had some amazing years and some amazing teams and amazing players. And looking back, I realized how blessed we were to have that moment and to have an ending like that, that people still talk about to this day. I've talked to a lot of good coaches, a lot of really good coaches around the area that, that had never won that section championship, but that's everybody's goals to hang that blue banner. And we were able to do that. And, and I think it's because, we played the right way. We played hard. We played together, and there was never, selfishness. Guys just competed, and they played for one another. And they wanted to represent the community, and they wanted to represent their family. They wanted to represent our program, and we did it. And that there's pretty damn cool. It's crazy. Here we are 25 years later, honoring these guys and what they were able to accomplish. And it's, before we won that game, just getting to the semifinals was a big deal, and it still is. But since that game, winning another one has kind of been the goal. I think we're able to elevate the goals that we have for this program, and we reflect back on that moment, on that game. It's a great sense of pride. I feel just really blessed, and there's so many people that contributed to it. And that's the beauty about Riverbank. It's never about one person or one group of people. We had, as I watch film and I look in the stands and you see the people there to support us. I mean, my family, such a huge source of inspiration for me and believing in me. And, Riverbank gave me a job as a 22-year-old head coach. Who does that? And they believed in me. And, I've had opportunities I had opportunities to go to other schools, but I would never be able to find what I found here. And that's that family, that's that blue collar work ethic, that hard work, that toughness, and the community we have here is just special. People outside of Riverbank don't understand it. But those of us that are from here, that live here, that work here, that coach here, we understand it. And I think us winning that game shows who we are, what we're all about. And a lot of people from our freshman coaches on up impacted that. I remember, our bus drivers. I just remember all the people that went into it. We Coach Stivers, who's done an amazing job now over at Modesto Junior College, coaching football here at the time. His support, just a lot of people supported us. That's kind of what it's all about here. And I think I'm most proud of that.